The update 37 beta is finally on Burglar, and in this video we're gonna cover the stat crunch part of this update. This is the forum post that we have of the stat crunch, and I'm just quickly gonna go through this. I'm not gonna spend too long, I'm not gonna read everything. Basically, as we know, the stat crunch takes all the numbers down across the board, mostly by about a factor of about 10. So if you have like a million morale on live, you're gonna have 100,000 when these updates hit. The balance throughout the levels has been smoothed out, so there won't be any spikes in difficulty as you level up. Basically what that means is from level 1 to level 140, there's gonna be a smoother increase in difficulty. There's not gonna be like a level 50, you get a huge boost in difficulty. Instead, it'll be more linear throughout the levels. Monster damage has gone up a little bit overall, and the same goes for player healing. So the damage from enemies a bit higher, but our healing is also a bit higher, and it's all relative to the overall morale pool of the players. Main stats, so might, agility, and will have been redesigned. We'll go through that once we look at all the classes. Basically, might, agility, and will give different stats for every class. Vitality and fate, there seems to be a typo here. Vitality and fate now specifically contribute to morale and power. So vitality will basically just give morale, and fate will give power, except for Beorning, who don't really need power. Fate will give another benefit. And since all the main stats are changing, a lot of gear will have to change. That's going to be an ongoing work for a while. And when it comes to this point 4 with the main stat changes, there is a chance that it'll not arrive exactly with update 37, but maybe a bit later. Whenever they're ready to release the main stat changes, we will get it. And finally, since the stats between levels are smaller, the enemy mobs will be stronger if they're higher level than you. If you're on level, it should be an even fight, but if the mobs you're fighting are higher level, they will have a small bonus in their damage and mitigation for each level of difference. So if you're a level 5 character and fighting a level 6 mob, they will have a little bit of an increase in the damage and mitigation, and a bit higher for 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. I wanted to get a quick comparison about the early levels. So this is a brand new Manhunter. Obviously, right side is live, left side is beta, and you can see the morale that I start with on live, 173 morale, and on beta you're gonna have 117, so a bit lower on the morale part. So I'm basically just gonna attack this Blackwood Lackey with only using quick shot. I'm just gonna compare if it takes longer or whatever happens. It seems like every quick shot hits for 3 damage currently. It takes quite a while, but as we know, the enemies are buffed a little bit, and of course the enemy has 40 morale. Let's see, on live compared, he has 88 morale, so 48 more morale. Let's see what quickshot is hitting for. So quickshot hits for quite a while more, 21 devastate. So it's pretty clear that it takes longer to kill stuff now on beta than on live. So it seems like the game got harder at lower levels, but as we know, the level curve will be less steep. So as you level up, it'll be more of a linear leveling experience rather than, let's say, when you hit level 50, there's going to be a big boost to the enemies. Instead, it'll be a steady increase in difficulty in the game. When it comes to the new stat caps, I haven't really tested myself, but the information I have from my Discord server is that mitigation caps are 54,000 for light armors, 67.5 for medium, and then 81,000 for the heavy armor cap. And then there's 13.5k for the tier 3 mid penetration. So to fully cap out your mids currently, light armor will need about 70k, medium armor will need about 80k, and heavy armor will need about 95k. The critical rating cap is 67k currently, and mastery cap is 136k. So I'm pretty far below mastery cap currently on beta, But word on the street is that these might change, crit and mastery. So crit and mastery should both be around 100k from what I've heard. Obviously everything is subject to change. I don't think anything is final, but these are the current numbers that we're working with. Crit rating 67k and mastery 136k. And when it comes to how much finesse you need, I'm not really sure. Not gonna worry too much about finesse. Same goes for resistance, crit defense, incoming healing, and BPE. That's something we can just have a look at when everything is finished. But for mitigations, light armors want to be around 70k, medium armor around 80k, and heavy around 95k. Crit cap currently is 67k, mastery cap currently is 136k, but these caps might change. Crit and mastery, I believe, are going to be equal around 100k or so. We'll see what the next beta will bring. Obviously, racial traits will also change. An example is the Friend of Man for Elf. 7500 Fate is being decreased to only 500 Fate. The same thing can be said for your passive stats that you upgrade with your stat tomes. As you can see, every main stat will go down from about 700 down to 200-ish, and vitality from 800 to about 300. So everything is going down. Another thing that will change is obviously virtues. You can see a few examples here. And some virtues such as determination, zeal, wisdom, the virtues that have main stat on them, on live they're considered not that great. That might actually change on beta with the new stat rework. There's a high chance that for some classes, whichever stat they need, determination, zeal, wisdom, that has a lot of main stat might be one of your best virtues going forward. So there's a high chance that we'll see a change in which virtues will be the best for your class. I will of course make a new virtue guide whenever this happens, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a shakeup in virtues where some of these virtues will actually become really good for a lot of classes. That's another thing to pay attention to. The virtues might change which virtues are the best. I also wanted to check a couple of enemies just to see the difference from live to beta. On live, the trolls in the beginning of Guathnos tier 5 has 237 million morale. On beta, they are down to 19 million morale. You can also check the Overseer. Overseer on live has 95 million morale, and he is down to 7.6 million morale. So quite a drop in morale, but obviously our damage is going to go down, everything goes down, our morale goes down. But this is just an example of the new morale of the enemies. I also wanted to try just DPSing a little bit, comparing, and I just want to spam quick shot both my hunters on beta and live. I've upped the mastery on my hunter to be close to level cap. I'm just going to spam a quick shot for about a minute. First I'll start on beta. And after I'm done with that, I'll switch to live and do the same thing, spam a quick shot, and we'll see what the DPS looks like. Currently, it seems like I'm stabilizing at around 2000 DPS on my new hunter. So obviously, DPS is gonna drop. Enemies have less morale. We're gonna do less or smaller numbers, but of course, the enemies have less morale, so our DPS should be about equal compared to what it used to be. It's going to keep spamming this for about a minute, dropping down to around 1500. Alright, let's see, 1500 started off with like 2k and then dropped to like 1500. And let's compare to live. I'm going to do the same thing on my live hunter. Just going to spam. As you can see, it's quite the difference. 300k currently on live compared to 2k on beta. But I much prefer the lower numbers. Obviously, I don't mind it at all because the enemy's morale is going down. So should our DPS numbers. So it all makes sense. But it's just funny to see how much smaller the number is. So seems like I'm stabilizing around 300k just by spamming quickshot. So quite a bit lower from 300k to 1500. Quite a big drop in DPS. but it's all relative. Every number is going down, enemies are going down. It all makes sense. It's going to be interesting to see what classes can land on for DPS after the stat rework. Obviously everyone's going down, but it's going to be interesting to see where different classes will land on the dummies. For Beorning, you can see that on live I have about 1.7 million morale, and if we look at the beta, I have almost 200k morale. Looking at the might stat on live, it gives 2.5 tact mastery and fizz mastery. It gives 1 crit rating, 2 points to block rating, 3 points to parry rating, and 1 point to evade rating. The new might stat on beta for Bear, might will give 1 point of physical mastery rating, 1.5 physical and tactical mitigation, 0.5 parry rating, 1 evade rating, and 0.5 resistance rating. So clearly might is the stat you want as a tanking Beorning, giving a lot of mitigations, parry, evade, and resistance rating, and also some physical mastery rating as well. Looking at agility on live, currently agility gives 2 points of physical mastery rating, 1 point crit rating, and 2 points of evade rating. This has changed on beta. Agility now gives 3 points of physical mastery rating, 2 points of critical rating, and 1 point of finesse rating. So clearly DPS will go for agility. So as a red Beorning, you will want to go for agility as your main stat. Vitality pretty much stays the same. The only difference is you no longer gain resistance rating. Vitality is now instead a pure morale boost. Looking at will at live, it gives you 2 points of tactical mastery rating, and then 1 point of tact mit, evade, and resistance rating. The new will stat will increase your tactical mastery rating by 1 point, outgoing healing and critical rating by 2 points each, and finesse rating by 1 point. So will is clearly the healing stat you want to go for. Fate on live currently gives a lot to Beorning, 2.5 crit rating, 2 points of tact mit, 1 point of resistance, as well as 0.5 finesse. With the new Fate stat, all classes will be getting just power, except for the Beorning, and Beorning instead will get some morale to compensate because they don't need power. Instead, you're basically getting morale instead of power. These are the new stats for Beorning. Might is clearly the tanking stat, agility for DPS, and will for healing. Vitality now only gives morale, and Fate gives morale as well instead of power. Looking at Brawler, on live I have 2.6 million morale, and on beta with the stat crunch my morale is 268k, so about 10% of what I have on live. Looking at might currently on live, might gives you 3 points of physical mastery rating, 2 points of parry, 3 points of evade, as well as 1 point of finesse. Might with the stat changes still gives you 3 points of physical mastery rating, and gives you 1 point of tactical mitigations, parry, and finesse. When it comes to agility, agility on live simply gives you 2 points of parry and 3 points of evade rating, but on beta, the new agility gives you 2 points of physical mastery rating, 2 points of crit rating, and 1 point of tact mit and evade. So clearly, agility is changing into more of a DPS stat for the Brawler. Vitality on live gives morale and resistance rating, but with the new stats, Vitality will simply give you an increase to your max morale. Will on live gives you 1 point of tactical mastery rating, 2 points of tactical mitigation, and 1 point of resistance rating. With the new stat changes, will give 2 points of tactical mitigation to the Brawler, as well as 1 point of physical mastery rating, parry, evade, and finesse. Fate on live for Brawler gives 1 point of maximum power, 2.5 points of critical rating, 1 point of tact mitigation, 1 point of resistance, 1 point of finesse. But as we know with the new stats, Fate will simply increase your power by 1 point per Fate. So when it comes to the Brawler stats, they're kind of like Might and Agility both work for DPS. They both give a good amount of stats, while it looks like Will is supposed to be the stat that leans towards the tanking, giving you a lot of tact mit. So it seems like the idea for Brawler is for DPS you want to get either Might or Agility, and for tanking you want to go for Will. For Burglar on live, I'm currently sitting in my yellow build with a lot of buffs running, and my morale is almost 1.9 million. On beta, my morale is almost at 200k. When it comes to the stats for Burglar, Might currently on live is pretty useless, giving you 3 points of block and 2 points of parry rating. With the new Might stat on beta, you're instead getting 3 points of physical mastery, 2 points of critical rating, and 1 point of evade. Agility on live is your main stat, giving you 3 points of physical mastery, 1 point of critical rating, as well as 2 points of parry and 3 points of evade. Agility on beta now gives you 1 point of physical mastery rating, 3 points of critical rating, and 1 point of parry and finesse. Vitality on live gives you morale and gives you resistance, but now on beta it basically just increases your morale. On live, Will simply gives 1 point of tactical mastery rating and tactical mitigation, as well as 2 points of resistance rating. With the new stats, Will give 1 point of physical mastery rating, crit rating, parry, evade, resistance, and finesse. Fate on live gives Burglar 1 point of power, 2.5 points of crit rating, 1 point of tact mit, resistance, and finesse. And on beta, it simply increases your power by 1 per fate. And when it comes to the stats you want to go for as a Burglar with the new stats, both Might and Agility seem like good choices for a Burglar, while Will surely be a forgotten stat, not really giving you much of stuff that you need. Looking at Captain, I am currently in my Redline build. On live, I have almost 1.5 million morale, and on beta I have 173k morale. Might on live increases your physical and tactical mastery rating by 2.5, as well as your block by 3 and parry by 2. On beta, Might will instead give you 1 point of physical mastery rating, fist mitigation, parry rating and evade, and 2 points of tactical mitigation. Agility on live gives you 1 point of critical rating, 2 points of parry, and 3 points of evade. On beta, Agility gives you 3 points of physical mastery rating and 1 point of crit rating, evade, and finesse. Vitality on live increases your morale and resistance rating, but on beta it simply increases your maximum morale. Will on live increases your tactical mitigation by 1 point and your resistance rating by 2 points. On live, Will has changed to instead give you 1 point of physical mastery rating, 1 point of crit rating, 1 point of parry and finesse, and 2 points of outgoing healing rating. Fate on live gives you 1 point of power, 2.5 points of crit rating, 1 point of tact mit, and 1 point of finesse rating. On live, Fate will simply increase your maximum power by 1 per fate. So looking at the new stats for Captain, it is pretty clear what the goal is going to be here. For a yellow Captain for tanking, you obviously want to go for Might, giving you mitigations and some parry and evade. For DPS, it seems pretty clear that you want to go for the Agility stat, giving you a lot of mastery, crit, and finesse. And for the healing Captain, Will is your healing stat, giving you outgoing healing, critical rating, and finesse. Looking at the champion class, my champion on live has about 1.5 million morale, and on beta he's sitting at 176k morale. When it comes to the Might stat for champion, on live Might currently gives you 3 points of physical mastery rating, 2 points of parry and evade, and 1 point of critical rating and physical mitigation. The Might is actually pretty good for champion on live currently. Might on beta will change, giving you 3 points of physical mastery rating and 1 point of critical rating, parry, and finesse. Agility on live gives you 1 point of critical rating, 2 points of parry, 3 points of evade. On beta, Agility will change, giving you 1 point of physical mastery rating, 3 points of critical rating, 1 point of finesse, and 1 point of parry. Vitality on live gives the champion max morale, 1 point of block, and 1 point of resistance rating, but on beta, Vitality will simply change to increase your morale. Will for a champion on live gives 1 point of tactical mastery rating and tactical mitigation, 2 point of resistance rating. On beta, will change to give you 1 point of physical mastery rating, 1 point of tact mit, 1 point of evade and resistance rating, and 2 points of parry rating. So when it comes to the stats for the champion, it's pretty straightforward. Both might and agility will give you good stats for DPS, and it seems like will is the stat you want to go for if you're building for a tanking champion. For Guardian, my Guardian on live is sitting at 2.2 million morale, and on beta it has 223k morale. So pretty much 10% of live. When it comes to the might stat for Guardian, currently on live, Guardian gets 3 points of physical mastery, 3 points of block, 2 points of parry from might. On beta, Guardian will instead get 3 points of physical mastery rating, and then 1 point of tact mit, parry, and evade. Agility on live currently gives 1 point of crit rating, 2 points of parry, 3 points of evade. On beta, agility will instead give 2 points of physical mastery, 2 points of crit, and 1 point of parry and finesse. Vitality on live gives morale and resistance rating for the Guardian, but on beta it will simply increase your maximum morale. Will on live gives you 1 point of tact mit and tact mastery rating, and 2 points of resistance rating. Will change on beta to instead give you 2 points of tactical mitigation, and then 1 point of block, parry, evade, resistance, and finesse. Fate on live gives you 1 point of power, 2.5 points of crit rating, 1 point tact mit, 1 point resistance, as well as 1 point finesse. On beta, Fate will simply just increase your maximum power. Looking at these stats for Guardian, I can tell you right now that Might is pretty much useless, Agility is superior for DPS, giving you really good DPS stats, and Will is clearly the best stat for tanking Guardian. My Hunter on live has about 1.1 million morale. On beta, my morale on my Hunter is 128k. Looking at stat changes for Hunter, Might currently for Hunter simply just increases your block by 3 and parry by 2, so pretty useless on the live servers. On beta, Might will instead give you 3 points of physical mastery rating and 1 point of tact mit and evade. Agility on live gives you 3 points of physical mastery rating, 1 point of crit rating, 2 points of parry, and 3 points of evade. On beta, Agility will give you 2 points of physical mastery, 3 points of critical rating, and 1 point of finesse. Vitality on live increases your max morale, tactical mitigation, and resistance. But on beta, Vitality will simply increase your maximum morale. Will on live gives you 1 point of tact mastery and tact mit and 2 points of resistance rating. On beta, Will increase your physical mastery rating by 2 points. On beta, Will increase your physical mastery rating and finesse by 2 points, and tactical mitigation and parry by 1 point. Fate on live gives you 1 point of power, 2.5 points of crit rating, 1 point of tact mit, 1 point resistance, and 1 point finesse. But on beta, Fate will simply increase your power by 1 per Fate. So overall, when it comes to main stats for Hunter, Agility is clearly the superior stat, giving you 6 points of value, while Might and Will are okay, but Agility is just much better for Hunter. My Lore Master on the live servers sits at just above 2 million morale, and on beta my LM is just above 200k morale. Looking at Might, currently Might for Lore Master does like nothing, increases your block by 3 and parry by 2. On beta, Might will increase your tactical mastery rating by 3 and tact mit, evade, and resistance by 1 point. Agility on live increases your critical rating by 1, parry by 2, and evade by 3. On beta, Agility will increase your tactical mastery rating by 2 points, critical rating by 3 points, and finesse by 1 point. Vitality on live increases your max morale, tact mit, and resistance. On beta, Vitality will simply increase your maximum morale. Will on live increases your tactical mastery rating by 3, resistance rating by 2, and tact mit, evade, and finesse by 1. On beta, will increase your tactical mastery rating by 2, outgoing healing rating by 2, and crit and resistance by 1 point. Fate on live gives you power, 2.5 crit rating, 1 point of attack mid, and 1 point of resistance. On beta, Fate will simply increase your maximum power as a Lore Master. So when it comes to the new stats for Lore Master, it's kind of like up in the air what you want to go for. Obviously, agility is the best stat for a DPS line, so if you're a red Lore Master, you obviously get agility. But for yellow Lore Master, if you kind of want to build a bit sturdier, I would say, then Might and Will both seem like decent options. If you lean towards more of a mitigation build, you probably would go for Might, while Will seems like the more standard Lore Master stat. Basically, Will seems like it's more lean towards a healing output, while Might gives you a little bit more survivability. I would probably lean towards Will as the best stat for yellow Lore Master, but agility is clearly the best for DPS. Looking at Minstrel, this is my red mini sitting just above 1 million morale on live. On beta, my mini has 127k morale. Might on live gives you 3 points of block, 2 points of parry, so pretty useless. Might on beta gives you 3 points of tactical mastery rating and 1 point of attack mid, parry, and finesse. Agility on live gives you 1 point of crit rating, 2 points parry, and 3 points evade. On beta, agility gives you 2 points of tactical mastery rating, 2 points of crit, and 1 point of physmit and evade rating. Vitality on live gives you maximum morale, attack mid, and resistance rating. On beta, Vitality will simply give you max morale. Will gives you 3 points of tactical mastery rating, 2 points of resistance, and then 1 point of attack mid, evade, and finesse. Will on beta will increase your tactical mastery, crit rating, and finesse all by 1, and outgoing healing by 3 points. Fate on live increases your power, crit rating by 2.5, attack mid and resistance by 1 point, but on beta, Fate will simply increase your power by 1 per Fate. When it comes to the stats for the Minstrel, it's pretty clear to see that Will be your go-to healing stat. But when it comes to the DPS Minstrel, both Might and Agility gives good value, but I'm probably gonna lean towards Agility because it gives attack mastery and crit rating, so I think Agility just about edges out on Might. My Rune-Keeper on live has just over 1 million morale, and on beta, it's about 130k. Looking at Might for Rune-Keeper, it does nothing, gives you 3 points of block, 2 points of parry. On beta, it now gives you 3 points of tactical mastery and then 1 point of crit rating, attack mid, and finesse. Agility on live gives you 1 point of crit rating, 2 points of parry, 3 points of evade. And on beta, Agility now gives you 2 points of tactical mastery rating, 3 points of critical rating, and 1 point of parry rating. Vitality on live currently gives you max morale, tactical mitigations, and resistance rating. But now on beta, Vitality simply just gives you maximum morale. Will on live gives you 3 points of tactical mastery rating, 2 points of resistance rating, and then 1 point of tactical mitigation, evade, and finesse. Will on beta now gives you 1 point of tactical mastery rating, 2 points of outgoing healing, and then 1 point of critical rating, evade, and finesse rating. Fate on live for Rune-Keeper gives you maximum power, 2.5 crit rating per Fate, 1 attack mid, 1 resistance. But as we know, Fate now on beta just simply gives you maximum power. So for Rune-Keeper, it's pretty clear that Will be your Rune-Keeper healer stat, giving you the outgoing healing, crit, finesse, and also tactical mastery, increasing your outgoing healing even more. Will is for sure the best stat for RK healer. And then looking at Might and Agility, pretty clear that Might will be the best stat for Rune-Keeper, giving you 6 points of good value, while Agility is pretty good, but you only get 5 points of value from attack mastery and crit, and the parry rating is kind of useless. So for Rune-Keeper healing, you will go for the Will stat, and for DPS, you will go for Might. For my Warden, I am currently in my DPS build. My morale is 1.6 mil on live, and on beta, my morale is 180k. Looking at Might for Warden on live, it'll give you 2 points of physical mastery rating, then 3 points of block and 2 points of parry. Might on beta now gives you 2 points of phys mastery rating, and then 1 point of crit rating, evade, resistance, and finesse. Agility on live is your main stat as a Warden, giving you 3 points of physical mastery rating, 1 point of crit, 2 points of parry, and 3 points of evade. Agility on live will now give you 3 points of physical mastery rating, 2 points of crit rating, and then 1 point of finesse rating. Vitality on live increases your maximum morale and also gives you resistance rating, but now it will only increase your maximum morale. Will on live increases your tactical mitigation rating by 1 and resistance rating by 2. Will on beta will give you 2 points to tactical mitigation and 1 point for Fizz Mastery, Fizz Mid, Parry, and Resistance. Fate on live increases your maximum power, crit rating, attack mid, resistance, and finesse. So for the Warden stats, it seems pretty straightforward. Agility will be by far the best DPS stat, and will be the best tanking stat. So tanking Warden will go for will, and DPS Warden will go for agility. Might seems to be like a DPS hybrid with some tanking stats on it, so probably not that good. Wardens should be looking at agility for DPS and will for tanks. Hey! Hey you! Yeah you! What do you want? You enjoy my content and you want to support me? Fine, I'll show you how you can do it. I would really appreciate if you like the video and subscribe to my channel. You can also support me through my Ko-fi homepage. If you're playing or looking to play Lord of the Rings online, there is one place you need to be. The Ghyniverse is a Discord server created for the community of the players of Lord of the Rings Online. The server is getting close to 7,000 members, and in this server you'll find tons of helpful information. There's monthly giveaways, easy access to patch notes, you can keep up with my YouTube videos, my streams. If you're a streamer, you can ask for the streamer role and you can announce your streams in the other stream channel. There are discussion channels for pretty much everything, every class, monster players. But the best thing about this server is probably the Gearing Resources tab, where you can find anything from trait lines for every class, every build. There are stat goals, where you can find out what stats you should aim for on your characters. Really helpful information about drop rates from instances, as well as screenshot from all the new loot that appears in the game. If you enjoy Lotro, you should definitely consider joining this server, and hopefully I'll see you in Middle Earth. If you were part of the Ghyniverse already, you might have noticed that another tab appeared at the top, the LFF server. This server is a brand new server that I created, the LFF Ghyniverse. In this server, you can select which servers you want to keep up with, and once you select your server, say you select Arkenstone, you will see the LFF, the kinship advertisement, looking for kinship and trade channels, and there's also voice channels if people want to use those. The LFF channel is basically a looking for fellowship channel where people can post if they need players for the runs, and this way people don't have to be logged into the game to see the chat. They can just instead get a notification on their Discord. There's also a kinship advertisement page where kins can post their kinship advertisement and have people join their kins. And you can also post in the looking for kinship chat if you're looking for a kinship, but make sure to take a look in the kinship advertisement first and look through all the kin to find a suitable kin for you. There's also a trade channel if people want to buy or sell stuff that you can use. Hopefully you'll consider joining this server to bring the community even more together, not just in the game, but also outside of the game.